Gentlemen, the President of the United States.
That's why months later we went to the Security Council to get another resolution called 1440. This is the last phase of diplomacy. A little bit more time. Saddam Hussein has had 12 years to disarm. He is deceiving people. That's what's important for our fellow citizens to realize, that if he really intended to disarm, like the world has asked him to do, we would know whether he was disarming. He's trying to buy time. I can understand why he's been successful with these tactics for 12 years, since I've been the president. I remember the protests against trade. I recognize there are people who don't like war. Well, I hope we don't have to go to war. But if we go to war, we will disarm Iraq. And if we go to war, there will be a regime change. And replacing this cancer inside of Iraq will be a government that represents the rights of all the people. Security Council. Total disarmament. He provides funding and training and safe haven to terrorists. It's hard to believe anybody saying he isn't in defiance of 1441, because 1441 said he must disarm. And yes, we'll call for a vote. No matter what the whip count is, we're calling for the vote. We want to see people stand up and say what their opinion is about Saddam Hussein and the utility of the United Nations Security Council. And so, you bet, it's time for people to show their cards of the September the 11th attacks against our nation. Conceived and planned the hijackings and... No, I'm not worried about that. As a matter of fact, it's hard to say the United States is defiant about the United Nations when I was the person that took the issue to the United Nations September the 12th, 2002. We've been working with the United Nations. We've been working through the United Nations. Secondly, I'm confident the American people understand that when it comes to our security, if we need to act, we will act, and we really don't need United Nations approval to do so. Presented to inspectors, and the world would witness their destruction. I will not leave the American people at the mercy of the Iraqi dictator and his weapons.
Around the world now not only disagree with you very strongly, but see the U.S. under your leadership as an arrogant coward.
If we have to use force, a lot of nations will be with us. You clearly named some that France and Germany expressed their opinions. We have a disagreement over how best to deal with Saddam Hussein. I understand that. Having said that, they're still our friends, and we will deal with them as friends. We've got a lot of common interests. If we were to commit our troops, I would pray for their safety. And I would pray for the safety of innocent Iraqi lives as well. One thing that's really great about our country, April, is there are thousands of people who pray for me, who I'll never see and be able to thank. But it's a humbling experience to think that people I will never have met have lifted me and my family up in prayer. And for that, I'm grateful. Tonight, I thank the men and women of our armed services and their families.